So do you disagree with the cuts that are being proposed for Medicaid right now?
Oh, the cuts to, this is I don't know if you understand this or whether you're just mouthing, the Democratic talking points. The cuts to Medicaid are for fraud, waste, and abuse. And I'll tell you what that means. It means that because of DOGE, we were able to determine, and it's about 8 million people who would be affected. Because of DOGE, we were able to determine that there are 1 million people who are claiming Medicaid from multiple states. That's illegal. It's theft. You're not allowed to do that. There are another 1 million people who are collecting both under Obamacare and
Mr. Secretary, that has nothing to do with the budget that's
These are the only
being
cuts that are being
proposed in the
made.
House.
These are the only cuts that are being made to Medicaid.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. There are another 1 million illegal aliens. We announced a law yesterday, a rule yesterday, we're not going to pay illegal aliens anymore. And guess what Gavin Newsom did this morning? He said, we're going to take all the illegal aliens off the California Medicaid rolls because the feds aren't paying for them anymore. So the compassion ends.
Secretary, let me focus you on the actual numbers of the budget that's being proposed. Secretary, I regain my time. I think what you are saying is absolutely inaccurate.
When they say I regain my time, that means you have to stop talking because you're making me look really bad because you're telling the truth.
In terms of the 13 million Americans that will lose access to healthcare. Let me tell you, the folks in my district are not actually getting Medicaid in another state. They can't travel to get in another state. The clinics that are provided.
That's not at all what RFK Jr. was talking about. That's why he reclaimed his time to spout bullshit.
Providing that life-saving care
tell you
are the last resort for folks.
Let me tell you the last category. Last category is adults who are able-bodied, who refuse to look for a job, to volunteer, to get a job, or to show that they are or to take a part-time job.
I agree with time. That is absolutely not true. The vast majority of folks in a community like mine who are on Medicaid are working. They want to work. People want to be able to make sure that
they're in no danger of losing their Medicaid.
That's just not true. We've seen in time after time, including in Arkansas and Florida and other states, that when you put more red tape, yes, but we've seen this chapter before. When you put more red tape in front of people actually getting that life-saving care, you're going to prevent people from accessing health insurance.
So that is, what does that have what does that have to do with what RFK Jr. is saying? For one thing, putting red tape is not denying anything. If that's even the case, he's probably just making that up, right? But that's not denying anybody anything. Every leftist has this attitude that every single person has to be as weak and as incompetent and it is as incapable of taking care of themselves or even performing the most basic tasks as possible. I guess it's because if they're like that, they'll be totally dependent on people like this.
Medicaid is for poor children. It's for women, for mothers, and it's for the disabled.
So RFK is great. And it's amazing that RFK can stay as calm as he does. Because, I think he's probably on testosterone. If you see him, he's jacked, right? I'll do an impersonation. What if he just did this? If he just said, I'm jacked, and if you don't shut up, I'm going to come up there and drag you out to the parking lot where I have a vat of beef tallow on the back of my truck, and I'm going to hold your head in the delicious beef tallow until you drown in the beefy goodness. I would love it if he did that. That would be an iconic moment if he threatened to drag that man out to the parking lot, to dunk his head, to hold his head in a vat of delicious beef tallow. We can only hope. We can only dream. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.